My name is Vivian Sutton. I'm 27 years old, and until this morning, I still believed, naively, that my family cared about me, at least a little. I was wrong. The day started quietly. Too quietly, in hindsight. I was sitting on my couch with a mug of coffee, already dressed in a soft blue blouse and black jeans, planning to head to my parents' house early to help set up for my sister's 30th birthday party. Chloe, the golden child. Chloe, the favorite. Chloe, the one the world revolved around. The party was scheduled for 3 p.m. at a beautiful event hall across town. I'd even curled my hair, something I rarely bothered with unless I wanted to feel put together. Maybe, deep down, I hoped today would be different. Maybe they'd see me. Maybe for once I wouldn't be the background blur in every family photo. At 9:02 a.m. my phone rang. Mom. I smiled tiredly and answered, "Hey, Mom, I was actually thinking of coming early to help." "Vivian," she interrupted quickly, too quickly. "Sweetie, I'm just calling to remind you about something." "Yeah, I know. Party at 3. I can come early if you want." "Actually, no. I'm calling to remind you." A pause. Heavy, careful. "Don't come today." My hand froze around my coffee mug. "What?" "To your sister's party," she said plainly. "Don't come." I sat back slowly, heartbeat echoing in my throat. Why not? Another pause. The kind where you can feel someone choosing the most polished version of a terrible truth. Because, another beat, you'll ruin all the photos. The words weren't sharp. They weren't emotional. They were clinical, like reporting the weather. There's a 60% chance of rain. You'll ruin the photos. I waited for more. Some clarification, a joke, anything that would soften the blow, but nothing came. "What do you mean?" I whispered. "I mean, you're not very photogenic, Vivian. And we hired a professional photographer. Very expensive. We want perfect photos for Chloe's 30th. Everything needs to be perfect." Perfect, meaning without me. My voice felt like it didn't belong to me. "You're uninviting me because of how I look?" "I'm not uninviting you," she corrected. "You were never officially invited anyway, but I didn't want it to be awkward when you showed up. So yes, it's better if you don't come, you understand?" It wasn't a question. It was an expectation. I swallowed hard. The mug in my hand suddenly felt too heavy. "Okay. That's it?" she asked. "Yeah, have a good party." I hung up before she said anything else. Then I put the mug down, stared at the wall, and let the sentence repeat in my skull. "You'll ruin all the photos. Not we overbooked, not we forgot to include you. Not even a lazy lie about venue capacity. Just the truth they'd always believed, finally spoken aloud. But here's the part that made my stomach twist. 3 months ago, I paid for the entire party. Let me back up. Growing up, I was the invisible daughter. Chloe was older, dazzling, adored. Marcus was the baby boy, spoiled, doted on. I was the middle, the filler, the afterthought. Every family photo hinted at the hierarchy. Chloe in the center, Marcus smiling wide, me, half in frame, blurry, behind someone's shoulder. At 14, I asked why none of my school photos were on the wall. Mom said, "Oh, we just ran out of frames." There were 12 frames. 10 held pictures of Chloe, 2 held Marcus, 0 held me. I stopped asking. At 18, I moved out. They didn't notice until the 3rd week. Still, I kept trying, showing up, texting, pretending this family wanted me. And when Mom mentioned planning a massive party for Chloe's 30th, 100 guests, fancy venue, professional photographer, I thought maybe, just maybe, I could do something meaningful, something that mattered. So I secretly booked the venue myself. Riverside Event Hall, floor-to-ceiling windows, stunning waterfront, capacity for 150. $8,500 for the full package, paid in full, under my name, under my card. The only condition? I told the venue to tell my parents the entire thing was part of a promotional giveaway. They believed it instantly. Of course they did. It's easier to believe in luck than to acknowledge the daughter you ignore is quietly funding your celebrations. I didn't want credit. I just wanted them to be happy. And maybe they'd look at me differently. But that was 3 months ago. Today, Mom told me not to show up because my face would ruin everything. The generosity I'd felt evaporated. In its place was a sharp, quiet clarity. I opened my email, found the contract. Primary contact, Vivian Sutton. Total paid, $8,500. Then I called Riverside Event Hall. Sarah, the coordinator, answered on the 2nd ring. "Hi, Sarah, this is Vivian Sutton. I have a booking today at 3 p.m. "Oh, the Sutton party. Everything is already in setup. It looks beautiful. I need to cancel. Silence, then cancel. The event is in 6 hours. I know, I said, but I'm the one who paid for it, and I'm canceling. She hesitated. We'd have to process the refund, and we'll need to notify your family. They're expecting. I'll text you their numbers, I said. Tell them the truth. Tell them the promotion wasn't real. I paid for everything, and I'm canceling. Quiet again. Then, may I ask why? I inhaled, exhaled. Because I was told this morning that I'd ruin all the photos, so if I'm not good enough to attend, I'm not good enough to pay. A soft exhale came through the phone. I'm so sorry, Vivian, truly. Send the refund, I said, and make the calls. When I hung up, I sat perfectly still. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Probably Sarah calling my mom. I didn't answer. I just stared at the ceiling as my phone kept buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. 10 minutes later, there were already missed calls. By noon, there were 47. Mom, Dad, Chloe, Marcus, aunts, uncles, cousins, unknown numbers. All frantic, all furious. I muted everything and waited for the storm to hit. This time I wasn't bending. This time I wasn't disappearing. This time I was choosing me. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Missed call after missed call flashed across the screen. Mom, Dad, Chloe, Marcus, numbers I didn't recognize. I didn't answer any of them. When I finally checked the voicemails, I played the first for half a second before stopping. Dad's voice came through sharp and furious. Vivian, call me, now. No explanation, no curiosity, just command. The second was Mom, frantic. Vivian, what did you do? The venue called Chloe is crying. Call me right now. The third was Chloe screaming. Are you serious? You ruined everything. The fourth was Marcus. You're such a petty bitch. Hope this was worth it. I deleted the rest without listening. Their reactions weren't surprising. Not one person asked why. Not one person wondered what would make me do something this drastic. Their first instinct was blame. It always was. Then the family group chat exploded. Aunt Carol. What's going on? Why is the venue locked? Uncle Jim. We drove an hour for this. Mom. There's been a misunderstanding. Vivian canceled the venue. We're handling it. Chloe. Vivian ruined my birthday. Marcus. Told you she's been acting weird. Dad. This isn't the place to argue. I muted the chat. It was like watching a neighborhood fire from far away. Lots of smoke, lots of shouting, but none of it touching me anymore. A message popped up from the only person who ever treated me like an actual human being. Emily. Hey, what happened? Everyone's freaking out, but nobody's saying anything. I hesitated, then typed. Mom told me not to come, said I'd ruin the photos, so I canceled the party I paid for. Emily responded instantly. Wait, you paid for it? Yeah, $8,500 3 months ago. And she uninvited you from a party you paid for? Yep. Vivian, that's insane. Yeah. Do you want me to tell them? No, if they cared, they'd ask. She sent a broken heart emoji and a simple, I'm on your side. My phone rang again. Dad, I answered. What the hell is wrong with you? He snapped. Hello to you too, I said. You canceled your sister's party. People showed up and the doors were locked. Do you have any idea what you've done? Yes, I said calmly. I canceled a party I paid for. Silence. Shocked silence. You what? I paid for it. All of it. The venue, the catering, the bar. $8,500. Why would you do that? He demanded. Because I wanted to do something nice. Then why cancel it? Because Mom uninvited me this morning, said I'd ruin the photos. That's ridiculous. Is it? You want my money but not my presents? That's not what this is about. It was when she told me not to come. Vivian, stop being dramatic. No, tell Chloe happy birthday. I hung up. Mom called immediately, crying, begging. Vivian, please undo this. I can't. The refund already processed. We'll pay you back. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? I wanted to be invited to my sister's birthday. That's it. You were invited. You literally called me and told me not to come. I didn't mean... You meant it exactly. You finally said out loud what you've treated me like my whole life. Silence. Please, she whispered. Your sister is devastated. You should talk to her, I said. You're the one who uninvited me. I hung up. 30 seconds later, Chloe's call came in. I almost ignored it. Almost, I answered. You ruined everything, she shrieked. No, I said. Mom ruined it. I just refused to fund it. You're horrible. You didn't even know I paid for it. Because you did it like some creepy martyr. I didn't want credit. I wanted you to have a good birthday. Well, now it's ruined. Talk to Mom. I never want to see you again. Then we both get what we want. I hung up while she was still screaming. Later, texts started showing up in the family group chat again. Mom, change of plans. Party at our house at 6. Everyone come. Aunt Carol, we'll bring food. Marcus, I got drinks. Chloe, thank you, everyone. Not a single mention of me. Not one person wondering why I canceled, why I didn't show, why I didn't answer. They were so used to me being invisible that my absence was simply convenient. Around 5 p.m., Emily texted again. They're doing the party at your parents' house. Are you coming? Wasn't invited. I'm so sorry. This is insane. Thanks. Want me to ask loudly why you're not here? No, don't get dragged into it. Still on your side. Thank you. At 7 p.m., the party was in full swing at my parents' house. I could picture it. Forced smiles, cheap decorations, Chloe crying every 20 minutes, Mom pretending everything was fine. I ordered Chinese food and turned off my phone. Emily texted anyway. This party is sad. Maybe 30 people came. Your mom is telling everyone you had a mental health episode. Marcus is drunk. Your dad looks miserable. Honestly, this is tragic. I leaned back into my couch. For the first time in a long time, I felt absolutely nothing for them. No guilt, no shame, no urge to fix anything. Just relief, freedom, a sense of weight finally sliding off my shoulders. And as the night went on, one thing became clear. I wasn't the disaster. I was simply done being the family's invisible, convenient, disposable daughter. The next morning, sunlight slipped through my blinds, warm and indifferent. My phone, however, buzzed like a trapped insect, over and over, relentless. 17 new messages, all between 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. I picked it up, sat on the edge of my bed, and scrolled through the wall of texts from Mom. Vivian, we need to talk. What happened yesterday was a disaster. I know you're upset, but this was too far. Your sister was humiliated. People are asking questions. I didn't mean what I said the way you took it. We can fix this if you just call me. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. We love you. Please don't throw away your family. I read every message twice. Not one acknowledgement of what she actually said. No real apology, no ownership, just damage control disguised as concern. I typed a single sentence back. Would you have invited me if you knew I paid for the party? The typing dots appeared, then disappeared, appeared again, disappeared. Mom didn't answer. She didn't need to. That silence was the clearest truth she'd ever given me. The other 5 texts came from extended family. Aunt Carol, your mother is so upset. You need to apologize. Uncle Jim, family is family. Call your parents. Cousin Lisa, you really hurt Chloe. She didn't deserve that. I set my phone down, walked to the kitchen, brewed coffee, and sat on the couch. I waited for guilt, some crushing wave of remorse my family believed I should feel. It never came. For the first time, I didn't feel broken. I felt awake. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Dad. Your sister wants to redo her birthday properly this time, the text read. Smaller venue, family only. Will you pay for it again? I stared at the message, stunned by the sheer audacity. No apology, no reflection, just expectation. Back to my default role. Silent provider, background daughter, invisible wallet. I typed, no. The dots appeared instantly. Why not? Because you'd just uninvite me again. We won't, he wrote. I promise. You promised I was family too, I typed. That didn't stop Mom from telling me not to come. She made a mistake, Dad answered. She's not sorry, I wrote back. She's embarrassed. There's a difference. You're being unreasonable. Am I? Let me ask you something. If I paid again and Mom told me not to come again, would you stand up for me? No response. I waited. Still nothing. That's what I thought, I sent. I'm not funding events I'm not welcome at. Dad finally replied, you're punishing your sister. No, Mom punished me. I'm just done paying for it. You're petty. No, I wrote. What's petty is calling your own daughter not photogenic enough, and then expecting her to pay for a party she's banned from. Silence. Then his final message. We'll talk later. I blocked his number, then Mom's, then Chloe's, then Marcus's. I didn't block Emily. She was the only person who had ever actually asked if I was okay. 2 weeks later, she texted me. Coffee, my treat. I agreed. We met at a small cafe downtown. Warm lights, mismatched chairs, the smell of espresso and cinnamon hanging in the air. She hugged me before we sat down. A long hug, grounding and real. When we finally sat, she studied my face. How are you really? She asked. Honestly, better than I thought I'd be. She nodded. Good. I was worried. No one else was, I said. She took a slow sip of her drink. Your mom's been spinning this story, that you overreacted, that you misunderstood what she meant. Did anyone ask what she actually said? I asked. No, Emily said with a sad smile. They're more interested in protecting the version of your mom they're comfortable with. Figures. Emily leaned forward. But just so you know, some people think you were right. Mrs. Patterson, you remember her? Chloe's piano teacher? She said if someone treated her like that, she wouldn't give them a dime either. A laugh slipped out of me. Mrs. Patterson doesn't tolerate bullshit. Exactly. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Vivian, you deserve better. The words lodged themselves in my chest, warm and painful. After coffee, we walked outside. Emily hugged me again. If you need anything, I'm here. Thank you, I whispered. Really? That night, I sat on my couch, scrolling through old photos. Not the ones my family took. Those barely had me in them, but pictures I'd taken or been tagged in. Group events, holidays, birthdays. I zoomed in. Half my face missing behind someone's shoulder. Blurry. Cut off. In the back row. Or not there at all. I realized something I had never allowed myself to acknowledge. Mom didn't invent the idea that I'd ruin the photos. She'd believed it for years. She just finally said it out loud. I deleted every picture that made my stomach twist. Every blurry, half-included version of myself. Every reminder that I never fully existed in my own family's eyes. 3 days later, Ethan, my boyfriend, asked why my parents had been calling him. I closed my eyes, took a breath, and told him everything. The uninviting, the photos, the money, the cancellation, the aftermath. He listened without interrupting, without judgment, his jaw tightening only once, when I told him what Mom said. When I finished, he pulled me gently into his chest. You deserve better than that, Vivian, he murmured. So much better. I didn't cry, but I could have. For the first time in days, I felt something solid under my feet. A few weeks after that, I pushed myself to attend a work happy hour. I expected to feel out of place, but to my surprise, my coworkers actually included me. They asked about my life. They laughed with me. They invited me to the group selfie at the end. When someone handed me their phone and said, Vivian, can you take the pic? Maya grabbed my hand. No way. Get in here, she said. Someone else can take it. She pulled me into the front row. In the photo, I'm smiling, a real, unguarded smile. For once, I was in the center. Visible. Wanted. Later that night, Maya texted me the photo. Best team night ever. I stared at it for a long time. Then I set it as my phone background. It felt like reclaiming something I didn't realize I'd lost. Weeks passed. I started therapy. I joined a volleyball group with Ethan. I added more photos to my apartment wall, pictures where I was actually there. And then, one afternoon, my phone rang from an unfamiliar number. I answered without thinking. Vivian, it's Mom. Please don't hang up. I didn't speak. We need to talk, she said. Really talk. Her voice shook, not from guilt, but from fear. Fear that she was losing control of the version of me she'd always kept small. What do you want? I asked finally. To fix things, she said. To explain. Then explain. She inhaled, a shaky, trembling breath. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, I said. I want my family back. I stared at the wall. You never included me in that family, I said. Not really. Vivian, please. No, I said quietly. Not this time. I hung up. And this time, there wasn't even a flicker of doubt. After I hung up on Mom, I waited for the familiar punch of guilt to land in my chest. It didn't. I felt nothing but a strange, steady calm, like a storm had passed and left only clean air behind. 7 months had passed since the canceled party. 7 months without calls from my parents, without texts from Chloe or Marcus, without being pulled into their orbit only to be pushed out again. 7 months of no family dinners, no group chats, no being cropped out of photos, literally or metaphorically. 7 months of peace. My life had quietly rearranged itself in the meantime. Therapy twice a month. Volleyball games with Ethan, where I was still terrible but no longer embarrassed. Weekly coffee with Emily. After-work hangouts with coworkers who actually seemed to like me. It startled me sometimes how easy life felt when I wasn't constantly shrinking myself. One afternoon, while sitting on my couch answering emails, I received an unexpected message. From Sarah, the event coordinator from Riverside Event Hall. Hi, Vivian. I hope it's okay I'm reaching out. Something happened recently and I thought you should know. I opened the email. She wrote about guests who had come back to the venue after the canceled party, confused and curious. When they asked what really happened, she told them, because I had given permission that day, that I had paid for the event anonymously, only to cancel it when I was uninvited. She wrote that several people reached out to her afterward, Some were stunned, some were supportive. Some said my decision made perfect sense. And I wanted to tell you this, her message read, because what you did was not petty. It was self-respect. One of the kindest gestures I've seen in this industry was your anonymous gift. And one of the cruelest things I've witnessed was what your mother said to you. I hope you're doing well. You deserve to be treated better than that. I read her email twice, 3 times. By the 4th time, my vision blurred, and for the first time since everything happened, I cried. Not sad tears, not angry ones. That quiet kind of crying. The kind that happens when someone finally hands you the truth you already knew but couldn't say out loud. When the tears stopped, I took a deep breath and replied, "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me." I set down my laptop and looked at the photo wall across my living room. 16 framed pictures, all taken within the last few months. Coffee with Emily, volleyball night with Ethan and the team, the spontaneous happy hour selfie where Maya had insisted I stand front and center. In every picture, I was visible, smiling, present. Mine. A few days later, I met Emily again for our monthly coffee. She slid into the seat across from me, scarf half falling off her shoulder, her expression giving away that she had something to say. "You're not going to believe this," she said. I raised an eyebrow. "Try me." Chloe had her 31st birthday last weekend. I blinked. "Already?" "Yeah, small restaurant thing, 20 people. She paid for it herself." I sipped my drink, waiting. Emily continued, lowering her voice. "Your mom asked me to ask you to come." My heart didn't jolt, it barely twitched. "Really?" "Yeah, she said it would mean a lot to Chloe if you were there." "And what did you tell her?" "I told her if she wants you there, she can call you herself." I smiled slightly. "She didn't, did she?" "Nope, of course not." Emily leaned forward. "They still think you'll eventually cave, pretend nothing happened, slide back into your old role." "My old role," I repeated. "The quiet one, the one who doesn't complain, the one who pays but doesn't show up." "The invisible daughter," Emily said softly. "Yeah," I murmured, "but I'm not her anymore." We sat there in a comfortable silence, warming our hands on our cups. "Do you miss them?" Emily finally asked. I considered the question, really thought about it. "I miss the idea of a family," I said. "Not them, not the way they actually were." Emily nodded slowly. "That makes sense." Later that night, I pulled out a shoebox from my closet, my own little time capsule. Photos from before college, from childhood, from birthdays and holidays. I looked at each one carefully. In most of them, I was barely there, half visible, cropped, in the corner, looking away, blended into the background like a misplaced piece of furniture. I put every photo back into the box, closed the lid, and slid it onto the top shelf of my closet, not out of sentiment, but closure. I didn't need proof anymore. I didn't need reminders. I had new photos now, a new life. A week later, Ethan and I went out with friends for trivia night. Between rounds, he snapped a candid picture of me laughing at something ridiculous Maya said. He showed it to me as the screen lit up. "You look good," he said softly. "Really good. Like someone who finally sees herself." I stared at the photo. I did look different. Lighter, brighter, real. "I want you to frame that one," Ethan said. "Put it up on your wall." I smiled. "Yeah," I said. "I think I will." Later that night, I stood in front of my photo wall with the new picture in hand. I found an empty space right in the center, where people put photos of graduations or weddings or big life moments. I hung the picture there, in the middle, not on the edges, not behind someone else, front and center. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed, a text from Emily. "Next coffee on me. Love you, Viv." I looked at the photo wall again, at the life I had built, at the people who had chosen me, at the spaces where I was not only allowed but wanted. For years, my family made me believe I belonged on the margins. But here, in this apartment, in these friendships, in this love, I wasn't on the margins at all. I was finally in the frame, and I wasn't going back.